thank you. Our case study is a bit of a different one. It focuses on a group of students involved in a particular set of artistic projects. In fact, in our study, it's an empirical study still in progress, we tackle the student perspective within the process of enactment of distributed leadership in a school, with the aim of identifying some practices and tools which can support the development of student leadership. Not only from the perspective of consulting students with tick boxes and so on, but with the perspective of looking at their action. In particular, we draw on the idea of concerted actions that we borrow from Woods and Grown, and we want to see how it may work in practice in some school experiences, leading to an expansion of the amount of leadership available in the school, to borrow from in the same article as Romuald quoted in his presentation. In particular, we focus on art performances, arguing that art performances present students with important opportunities to reflect, to propose, to comment and interpret themselves and their mates, thus to share their ideas, enacting leadership in a variety of ways. And we concentrate in particular on the case of a school music band that follows a particular collective methodology. This art performance, to some extent, can be considered, as Peter would has developed, as critical events, which are, in his definition, events which imply a particularly developed pedagogy with a series of strong relationships based on the fact that there is something important at stake, which is included in the planning. These are particularly intensive adventures, which can offer an interesting arena to explore a variety of aspects of student leadership. Our case is based on the school of Monte San Savino in the landscape of, in the Tuscan landscape in the country, a very low-income school, which was then considered of very high quality in a recent pilot evaluation by the Ministry of Education. It's a big school which includes 5 sites, which is typical of the Italian context, with some 1,000 students. And the flagship of the school is a project called Musically Minded, which empowers the music curriculum and foresees the possibility for the students to participate in the school band from the age of 11, if they want. Some 30% of 35% of the students accepted the proposal. In the spring of 2014, the school was at the crossroad of a series of events, in that a professional director has planned to conduct the band in a professional conductor, has accepted to conduct the band in a special concert, and a professional film director had decided and agreed with the teachers and the head teacher to film the adventure. So our data collection occurred in the period where many important critical events occurred in the school in which the band was involved. It has lasted 3 months so far, and has included field observation, 6 focus groups with a total of 43 participations, and 19 semi-structured interviews with the students participating in the band, the students not participating in the band, and the students participating in the movie. For our focus groups and case studies, we elaborated a topic guide with a lot of keywords which were then organized and further developed according to the results of the former focus groups. Our interviews approach is very much connected with the analysis we are undertaking and is based on the interactive interviews, which sees the respondents as the owners of stories they have to narrate. So it was not it was very respectful of the things the students had to say and tried to elicit their deepest stories. So one part of the analysis, I'm sorry, it's impossible to read it, is focused on the selection of a few stories which have emerged from the analysis. We have transcribed all the interviews and goes to identify the actions that the students mention. Another kind of analysis, we have a lot of these stories and they will be elaborated, draws on some characteristics of critical events that Peter Woods called features of communitas, which are in particular the development of a culture, of a spatial culture through the action, the possibilities to discover others, the leveling of certain relationships of power, the mutual support, and the expansiveness, meaning with this the sense of satisfaction and of enthusiasm. And we overlapped these dimensions with the dimension of holistic democracy elaborated by Phil Wood, which are represent a possible link with distributed leadership and the development of democracy. So we used these macro categories to elaborate our data, and we identified, I have here quite a few meaningful examples of each of them, that maybe can be read more peacefully after this presentation. And they give a sense of what, these are all quotes transcribed from the interview, they give a sense of what is meant by the students for being active in their emotional elaboration and in their ideas. This is about the spatial culture, what is called spatial culture, and it's about the elaboration of their sense of belonging and these quotes refers to the first time in the band is a wonderful feeling, because you feel inside, you feel a sense of togetherness. When you were listening to the sound of on your own, it was nice. But when you are there, really together with the group, this is a very different feeling. Other interesting examples are, we collected a lot of them, about how the participation in the enterprise produces a sharing of power, a situation of mutual support. It's very interesting, for instance, to look at the description of how the mutual support and the prompts works in the music situation with respect to the forbidden prompts during the school lessons. Expansiveness is the sense, and which we have overlapped with holistic well-being, the sense of satisfaction and of being able to understand the reasons of this satisfaction. in which, of course, the music has a main role, but not only. It is, you know, the sense, for instance, in the words of Gabriele, it makes you proud, working with people who are more skilled than you. Anyway, it is a different thing, it is pleasant, and at the end it gives you a sense of result. In other more elaborated quotes, there is a very strong comparison between the result in this context and what is meant with result in an ordinary lesson. I want to close with this quote from Gioele, which came out as one of the stories, which is very interesting because we didn't elicit it. It came out in his reasoning, and it illustrates very well and very meaningful, according to us, the importance of a sense of work to enact agency. So Gioele is a very delicate boy, and he's very concerned for the people who cannot belong to the band, and he dreams of a project. He suggests to his head teacher to elaborate a project where, I find it very meaningful, there can be work for everybody. So as you can see, this kind of work is very different from asking the students if they are happy or not, or from leaving the students in the situation where they are totally free. Because on the contrary, in this kind of activities, they are very, very directed and very controlled by the teachers, but they need this control, and they understand why they need it, because there is a performance, there is something important for them at stake. We are going on, and we will see.